So the next thing, we just want to make sure everyone knows how to participate in Chatzy. If you have questions or if you want to raise your hand, go ahead and communicate that way. So Haystack administers the DML competitions. This is our fifth competition, and some of you may know that we have three phases to this one. So we had the hackathon in New York in May, and then you guys are the winners for the second phase, and we'll be announcing the third phase shortly. But Haystack is a place where a lot of people who win these competitions feel like they have found a tribe. Haystack stands for Humanities, Art, Science, Technology, Alliance, and Collaboratory. And it tends to be people who are thinking the same way. And I'm just going to shorthand it by saying it's a lot of people who understand the humanities perspective when we're thinking about technology, particularly when it comes to learning in a digital age. So if you are looking for people who are thinking and doing and building in similar ways that you are with your projects, you're going to find a lot of people who are thinking the same way and building the same way. The way we have set you up, we have created these groups on Haystack with your logos. I think Ruby has probably been in touch with you. And whenever something is posted in this cohort, it goes out to all of you, those of you who are part of it. So even if you are just the group member, the group leader of your group I'm speaking in Drupal speak here, you'll get a notification if you have other people on your team who want to be receiving some of these notifications or whenever anybody else blogs. Go ahead and have them get an account on Haystack and join your group. And when they're a member of your group, they become a member of the DML5 cohort. I probably am going to go ahead and set up a listserv for our group. A lot of people who come into our competition like to know other things that might be happening when other announcements are about the competition. So if you're on Haystack, you'll receive notifications, and then our official way of communicating with you will probably be through listserv, and I'll set that up in the next week or so. And again, that listserv is, you can unsubscribe from it if you're not interested in anything coming up, but it'll be a low lift coming from us in terms of communicating with you through that, since we just have you for the short summer. So it won't be a huge amount of email. I wanted to shout out to the people who are already blogging. That is so awesome. We all in our office felt great seeing people that were already blogging. I don't know what it is about Philadelphia, because we had not only one but two from Philadelphia talking about some of the great things that is happening this summer, including things that have already been going on and just a sense of what is going on in your project. One thing that I have found that is exceptional with our communities, particularly in the last couple of years, is the amount of sharing that goes on and people talking about how they're doing things and what they tried and why this doesn't work and have you thought about that. So this is tends to be, people who win these competitions tend to be excellent at generating great ideas, and if you take it that one step further and share things, it makes it easier for people, not just us, those of us administering the competition, but people in your cohort. So please do blog, and if you have news or announcements or anything that you think other people in the Haystack community would be interested in, please feel free to share. We have been, thanks to Hillary Culbertson, who also is here with me at Haystack, have been queuing up all of the announcements that we found in the poll that you filled out, the form that you filled out. DML Comp is our Twitter feed, and that's probably our most active social media channel. We also push things out through Facebook, but in terms of your events and giving you a little bit extra publicity, we're doing that on Twitter, and those things are all set to go up, and some of them have been going out already. So keep an eye on Twitter. We're big fans of Twitter, so if you're coming from an organization that is just starting to get into that, or if we may have missed that you had that, I think we tried to gather that information in the form. So if you have anything that you want us to help you spread, that's kind of what we do here. We try to make sure that everybody in our network knows what all of the grantees are doing. I should say too, we do work with the competition grantees even after the competitions are over, in the sense of trying to support your work and helping link you and network you into the bigger community. So if If you have something that you're thinking, I think this might be good for Haystack, or there's other people who might be interested in this, or I have some questions about this, just shoot me an email. It's a big part of my job is just keeping track of everybody. So don't feel like even when the summer is over that we're not interested, because we're very interested. If you're innovating with youth in interesting ways, we're interested in it. So another resource I want to make sure everybody knows about is the DML Hub Net. So Haystack is co-located. Half of us are at Duke University and the other half are at University of California, Irvine, which is also where the DML Hub is located, and they have a huge amount of resources. I'm just going to walk you through that really quickly so that you know that you've got an intellectual home with the DML Hub as well. DMLHub.net is they do a lot of research, so you're going to see a lot of stuff coming out of universities and from researchers. I find it to be some of the most accessible kind of research. I feel like there's a tremendous effort to make this as accessible to practitioners as possible. So by saying research, I hope that doesn't make anybody think, oh, that's a scholarly community and there's no place for me there. I find a very welcoming community, and you can actually watch a lot of practitioners and researchers, scholars, educators having conversations, because that's what it takes, is these interdisciplinary, cross-institutional, collaborative kinds of conversations, I think, to understand some of the things that we're doing. So you'll find on Connected Learning TV, which is connected to the DML Hub, you'll find the framework that you belong in, whether you're interested in exploring what that framework is or not. There is a framework called Connected Learning that the MacArthur Foundation has been working on for the past many years. So digital media and learning is part of Connected Learning, and it's the interest, the peer culture, the shared purpose, its production center. There's a fantastic infographic on Connected Learning for those of you who want to take a look to see exactly what that is. I think it helps make sense of a lot of the different things that the MacArthur Foundation, the education part, is focused on. So if you're interested in following up on that, I highly encourage you to check out Connected Learning TV. We are about to do, Haystack and Connected Learning TV are about to do a big month having a conversation about badges, opening new doors to opportunities. We do a lot of cross programming with other organizations, and September is going to be a great one for Connected Learning. So chime into that. And that would be one of the announcements that I would be setting up and sending out on the listserv, so that you have all the information you need to join. And then face-to-face, there's nothing better than face-to-face. All the digital in the world, it's all made better when you can meet face-to-face. And we do. We meet at the DML conference. It's usually in March. This year, or I should say next year, 2014, it's coming up in Boston. I will say for the competition grantees that we've had in the past, going to the conference has been a fantastic experience. And the competition in past years has showcased a lot of the work. We won't be doing that with your competition, but it's a great place if you're looking for other people, if you have those kinds of questions that, how do I do this, or who else is doing it like this? These are your people. It's a fun conference, and I hope people can shake some extra funds out of your organizations and find a way there next year, because it would be great to meet people in person. I did want to talk a little bit too about the badges work that we're doing. The digital badges competition was probably our biggest competition. It spanned 2 years. We launched it in 2011. And in terms of the connected learning framework, what digital badges allows is to take programs like yours to look at what it is that youth are doing and what they're building and what kinds of things that they're learning, and to recognize that. For those of you who have been following the badges conversation, there was a huge citywide Summer of Learning in Chicago this year that was sort of a alpha beta prototype of how organizations like yours could be connected in to a bigger issue. For that issue, it was to prevent the summer drop-off of learning. So there was a goal there that everybody sort of, I think there were more than 100 organizations Philadelphia, I think, is a city where we have a badge grantee that's working citywide. So different cities are starting to get very interested in using badges in interesting ways, and there's a lot of stuff that's coming up connected to that about how do you build and design and protect the learning and yet recognize the learning? How do you create opportunities for youth? How do you create learning pathways? So I wanted to make sure that I mentioned the badges work. Some of you I know are doing a badging component in your work. If that's the case, or if you're curious about this and you feel like this is overwhelming, I don't know where to start, send me an email. A big part of my job is making sure that I get people to the right information, specifically or especially with digital badges. And you can be skeptical about them. You can be incredibly enthusiastic. You can also just ask for resources. How do I just on ramp? We've been working very closely with the Mozilla Foundation to think carefully about particularly our community. How can we make sure that the people who are working with youth in the way that our organizations are, how can we really support them in thinking about badges for their organization? So feel free to look at us as a resource if you're interested in badges. The screenshot that I have up there, the project Q&As, read lessons learned about building badge systems from the 30 badges for lifelong learning projects. Those are the final reports that all of the grantees did. They're just about to finish their grants, and they did these fantastic reports. It's a Q&A format, and if you go to our website, you can click through to that and see what the organizations did. We're going to do a deeper synthesis to make it so that people can find what they're looking for. But if you're a museum or you're working with kids out of school or in a library, there's a badge system that somebody has done the thinking to help you contextualize what exactly it means to build a badge system for your organization. So that is my badge spiel. The last thing I wanted to say, and I'm going to open it to questions, and hopefully we've got some gregarious people here who have some questions after this. But I do want to say that we would like to hear about your projects and share those in a round robin style of webinar. We've done this in the past with our badge grantees, and they were a big hit. You do all this work and you really want a great audience to find out not only what you did and how it impacted your youth, but how you did it, what were things that worked and didn't work, what do you wish you had more of. So we're going to be asking you to join us filling out. Well, I'll be in touch with you for the scheduling. It'll probably be some doodle polls to figure out who can share what they're doing at what point, and have a group of you, maybe 2 or 3 or 4, in an hour. Just tell us a little bit about what you're doing, and let us learn a little bit more about who you are and your organization and what it is that you're doing with youth. So expect that to come in the next couple days. And I'm going to check Chatsy to see if anybody has any questions, or raise your hand if you want to say anything or address people, or if you have an event coming up and you want to share it with everybody, go ahead and do that too. So I'm going to go into a moment of awkward silence here while I wait to see if there's any questions. And thank you to Mandy. Mandy's been putting some, I don't know if people have mostly chimed in through their computers, or if you've called in, if you are on your computer and you're in Chatsy, you can see that Mandy's posted the DML Research Hub listserv, which I highly recommend that you get on. It's got lots of announcements, not only about what the hub is doing, but also job opportunities and funding opportunities, research reports and things like that. And then Mandy's also linked to the Chicago Summer of Learning that I was referencing, and our digital badges collection on Haystack. Anybody have any questions or have anything they'd like to share? We're
Cheryl,
going to make you
it
stay
looks
on for the
like
whole hour.
It looks like Juan Rubio has a shout out about his project that's upcoming on Thursday, August 29th at the Brooklyn Public Library for youth as part of the Radio Rookies and Global Kids DML5 Project Connect. So I'd be happy to unmute you, Juan, if you want to tell us a little bit more about your event. If you want to go ahead, you're unmuted now.
Oh, hi. Hi, everybody. Yes, so this Thursday, August 29th, Radio Rookies and Global Kids are coming together at the Brooklyn Public Library for the That Could Be Your Sister Design Challenge, where youth from New York City are going to come together to design a digital tool to combat sexual cyberbullying. And this event came from the hackathon earlier on here in New York City, and it won the DML5 competition. So we're very happy to be there, and it's going to be really great. So if you have youth who can come and participate, we'll be glad to have them there.
That sounds
Juan,
fantastic, Juan.
Juan, can you say something a little bit about the kind of cyberbullying that you're referencing? I met your team in New York in May, and I was really interested in the frame that you have for the type of bullying and the reason. Where did the name come from? Let's start with that.
So that could be your sister. It started also. This started with a Temi Tayo, who is a reporter from Radio Rookies, and she has been doing a terrific radio pieces on sexual cyberbullying, and it's a practice that is prevalent among young people, high school students who are using Facebook pages, text to shame each other by displaying photos or creating comments talking about them, number one, in a sexual nature, and number two, she talks about slut shaming. So it was from that perspective, and kids are being engaging in the digital realm in this form to hurt each other, to bully peers. So she is. I've been interviewing a lot of people of that. So she, this idea was that to create a tool that will achieve certain things, such as spread the word out that this is happening, or provide support to those who are suffering from it or have been victims of it.
Great, and please let us know if you have somebody on your team blogging. We would love to know how the event goes and to keep us in touch.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Cheryl,
thank you.
Alex Thomas would like to talk about his event as well. Alex, go ahead. You're unmuted.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Hi, so I'm Alex. I work with the Filipino American Human Services, and we have a youth program called LIFE, which is Leading Youth to Find Empowerment, and we actually just had our big event on Saturday. And so basically, throughout the summer, students have been making digital stories about their life. And so we kind of left it open for them to choose what they wanted to do their digital story on. And then we had a big viewing party on Saturday. But it's actually turned out really well because a lot of our conversations have centered around like what we share on the internet, and then how we can leverage the internet to make connections among our communities. So even though we are a Filipino American organization, we have students from all different backgrounds, and so we work to sort of make those connections. And so throughout the program, we were Skyping with other youth organizations in California, and we're building with an organization in Georgia to share the stories that the youth have created. And just to give you guys a taste of some of the things that we have been writing our stories about everything from getting into college to immigration stories to kind of being okay with yourself, and then also like stories of like love and family. And so anyways, we are now in the stage where we're building a place where students can actually post that and then encourage other young people that we've been sort of building with to comment on that, to foster a conversation around those issues. And what's really great about this program is that, like I said, we let the students really pick what they wanted to talk about, and so it's really a organic, student-created space where they're making connections where they want to make connections. And so I just wanted to tell you guys about that, and I can't wait to be able to share with you all the space that we make, and so that your organizations can sort of take a peek at it. And I know, for example, Juan, I'm so glad to hear about your program. We're in New York City as well, and so I'm going to encourage a lot of my kids, if they have a chance, to check into your program and to see what you guys are up to at the library.
Thank you, Alex. That was fantastic. That so can you just say again which cities that you're reaching out to?
Yeah, and so we have reached out to an organization in LA, and right now I'm in talks with another Filipino organization in the Bay Area. There's a lot of Filipino youth organizations that also does digital storytelling, and so we're going to invite those youth who have created digital stories to comment, and then also, when we sort of build up to that moment, perhaps share their videos also online. So right now we're building with Atlanta, LA, and then hopefully the Bay Area to come in the next few weeks.
Great, that sounds awesome, and I hope we can read about it either if you want to send us a link to your blog post or cross post on Haystack, so people can hear how things went. That's great.
Cheryl, I've got another question from Linda McDonald. I'm going to unmute you, Linda. Okay, go ahead with your question. Oh, Linda, I think you might be muted on your end. There you go.
Can you, whoops, hold on. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, it's less a question than I wanted to just talk a little bit about we're working on a project. I run a youth journalism program here in Minneapolis-St. Paul called 360 Journalism, and the project we're doing is something called Protect My Rep, which is an online tutorial for teenagers to actually look at their reputation online, and we're doing some short videos with people like a college admissions counselor, the county attorney, an Army recruiter, where they talk about how they're watching social media and the judgments they make from it. So, and then guiding kids through how their privacy settings on social media so that they can do a better job of protecting themselves, and also some strategies if they've made some mistakes, if they posted some things or said some things, giving them some advice about what they can do. And what we're hoping to do, we're working with, I'm working with a group here of about 9 teenagers, and then the folks who are actually building the tool for us are alums of the program. One of them is in DC now, one is in New York City, and they now do web development in their fields. So they're actually building the tool, and then we'll launch this at a big event here at the Minneapolis Central Library on September 26th. But what we're hoping is that there will be lots of places for students who use the tool to make comments and tell their stories and ask questions. So I would love it, those of you who are doing similar work, when we get this launched, I certainly would love to have you and your students look at it, offer comments, and use it, because this is something we really want to be of value to young people all over the country.
And Linda, can you repeat for people the name of your project?
It's called Protect My Rep, and we have the domain name. It's not up yet, but when it's launched, it will be protectmyrep.org. That's where you'll find the tool. And it will certainly be launched by September 26th, and I'll alert everybody about this as well.
Great. I think it sounds like that might be happening for quite a few of you, that you're launching websites that are specific to these projects, and maybe blogging on your organizational blog. So we saw that in the Google forms that people are at different stages. But please do share with us when you do get those URLs launched and do have that information up there.
Cheryl, I think Antero had asked a question in Chatsy about the process for the final report. His event took place a little bit earlier this summer, so he's wondering about how to report out.
We are going to send you something soon with details about that, what the expectations are for that. I will say that we really appreciate reports that can be shared so that others can learn from them. So we try to put it in those terms. So you can see, for example, with the digital badges group, asking them what they've learned so that we can share it out. So we'll be in touch with you more about what that report will look like. I know a lot of you are at libraries and places where you've had grants before, and you might have people who are writing those reports for you. So we'll make sure that you get information specific so that you or those people in your organizations know how where to send the reports and how to fill those out. It's going to be a 300-page report. No, I'm just kidding. It won't be. It will be. You'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy the process.
Do we have any other questions from anyone? Or anyone that wants to do a shout out about their upcoming event? I think we're getting radio silence.
Nope, we've got Andrew in Chatsy saying, Andrew Coy.
Oh, great. Well, Andrew, hold on one second. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, thank you. So basically, just to give you guys a 30-second kind of overview of the project and what we're excited about with this in particular is, I first off, I work and run a nonprofit in inner city Baltimore that has turned an old rec center into a tech center. And it was a rec center that was just being shut down, and I said this should be a place where youth in the city can come and develop and explore these tech careers. So what we're doing, and we're really excited about this, is what we call a web slam, where we teach in a 2-week intensive training, youth how to make websites, how to do HTML, PHP, and then use the WordPress platform, and then in a weekend hackathon, they build a website for a nonprofit that otherwise wouldn't be able to afford a website. So we're teaching, not only the skill set, but then also the soft skills of client interaction and just that confidence building that comes from working on real world projects. And building into this, we also do a lot with badges and recognition of learning through those. So we're looking forward to launching that. That's going to happen September 16th through the 28th is when that's going on.
And what's the name of your project?
WebSlam is the name of it. So webslam.org is the website, and Digital Harbor Foundation is the name of the organization.
Great. I'm just typing it in Chatsy. I should have said at the top of the hour too, if Mandy didn't, that we do record these, so we'll be sharing these with everybody. So you can, if you have other people in your organizations who want to listen, and then this Chatsy is always here. You can see the archives if there's any websites that you wanted to grab from text. Thank you, Andrew. That was great. That's not a small effort to turn something into a place where kids can do some high-tech things.
Yeah, and it's been a lot of fun. If you want to see any photos, I can put a link to our Flickr page. It's been quite the process to go through and do all this, and a lot of partners involved, but it's a lot of fun too.
And are you going to link to that from your project on Haystack?
Yeah,
I
can.
You just,
yep.
Great. Thank you. Anybody else want to share just a brief recap? It'll be great when we come back to just discuss our projects in more detail. We'll have something people will already have shared a little bit, so it'll seem a little bit more familiar. Do we have anybody else who'd like to just talk a little bit about what their event was or what they have got queued up? You're all in bus stations somewhere and don't want to unmute yourself, or you're in meetings, multitasking. And that's fine if we've got everybody who wants to share what they're doing. We're going to loop back, and I'm really looking forward to the round robins because it's pretty exciting for us. We never tire of hearing about what you're working on. We get to sort of live vicariously through your projects, so we all look forward to that. I know a lot of people want to know. There's quite a bit of attention on these competitions. We get a lot of people looking and very curious. And so it's not just wanting to get your work up on Haystack to make extra work. It's because I know the kinds of people that take a look at these projects and what they're interested in, including reporters and people like that. It'd be great at the end of this to write a nice blog post that highlights this kind of work so that we can inspire other people in other locations to do the same or to collaborate with you if you've got that kind of mechanism built into your organization. So I'm not going to keep you on just for the sake of keeping you on. I know everybody's very busy, but it looks like we have heard from people who want to share about their projects, and I will be sending you a recording of the webinar as well as the slide deck and a link to Chatzy if you want to share it with anyone in your organization or you want to come back and recheck some resources. And please do keep in touch with me, right? If you have any kinds of questions, if you realize you don't know where to find something within our community, the Connected Learning TV community, DML Hub, about the DML conference, about Haystack, about badges, it makes me feel good, have a back history as a librarian, so I always like to feel like people come to me and ask me reference questions. It makes me feel like I'm making that degree useful. So please reach out to me. I'm cheryl.grant@duke.edu, and if you have any kinds of questions, I can get you to the right people and get a response to you. So thanks everybody for joining us today, and I hope you all have a wonderful summer. If you have events coming up or you're launching websites, and if you had your events, can't wait to hear about them. Thanks everybody.